Hey Cassie, how you doing? So the wire wastebasket as a pasta strainer, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. I'm really glad you chose this one because I saw potential in this. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a darn good idea. So yeah, good. And this is great. This is going to work beautifully. I love this with the little noodles. Love it. Thanks for including that. That's fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at the narrative. So you've got introduction of the setting and introduction of the main character. That's fantastic. So I think what you have here is a good depiction of all of the needed components of an effective narrative. So that's great. So let's go ahead. So we've got introduction of the setting, introduction of the main character, right? Is he reading a cookbook? It's hard to tell. I'm not real sure, and I'm not real sure what the exclamation point is. Like, I'm just not clear. To me, it's almost like he's reading a cookbook, and he's getting ideas. So let me know if that's the case. So you may consider trying to clarify that a little bit. The first frame, second frame, he's got the pasta on the burner, right? Now, the third frame, it looks like he's reaching for a colander, but there's a question mark, and I'm not real sure how can we indicate that he doesn't have a colander. I mean, one would presume if you don't have a colander, you would probably know that before trying to make spaghetti, right? So I'm just wondering how we can introduce the colander as the conflict in the story, the fact that there's no colander. Um, I mean, boy, that's a tough one, but try to think of how you're going to do that. So does the calendar break? Maybe it breaks, or I don't know. Think about how, because that's a critical point. The conflict is a critical introduction of the conflict is a critical point in any narrative. You have to admit, watch any movie on Netflix, watch any show, sitcom shows. It's the introduction of the conflict that really sets up the tone for the rest of the story. Setting and introduction of a setting is one thing. Effective introduction of the conflict is a critical part of any narrative. So really think about how you're going to indicate that the calendar is either missing, or it's not available, or it's broken, or whatever the situation is. So think about that. So then from here, so we've got the conflict, and you go immediately from the conflict to the possible resolution. But there's one thing missing here and here, and that's your main character. We want to draw a connection between the idea, the aha, eureka moment, and the main character, right? So how is that going to work? Did you see what I'm saying? So my suggestion would be to go back and show after you figure out a way to indicate that the calendar is not available. Then we go to um, the idea of the wastebasket, but let's get him in there somewhere where he's going, oh, wait a second, I don't have a calendar, but I do have a wastebasket. So again, him, the main character, dumping the garbage. And in this frame, I've been looking and looking and looking, and I just cannot figure out what this frame is depicting. I can't, this looks like an eye, and a mouth, but if that's the case, this looks like hair. But then again, I can't tell if this is a faucet. But with the eyes and the mouth, it doesn't make sense because this character is not the same as this character. Do you see what I'm saying? So I have a feeling this is a sink, but I'm not real sure what this is, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on in this frame. Then we have taking the boiling noodles and placing them into the mesh basket, but maybe we could show the water dripping out of the bottom of the mesh basket just to ensure that that is being used indeed as a colander. And then the rest, of course, works out just beautifully. Meaning you've got the spaghetti, the meatballs, the sauce, right? And then voila, spaghetti dinner, and then the main character enjoying the spaghetti dinner. So think about that, and this critical area right here. I mean, don't break your neck on this. I mean, if you just want to show, if you can't come up with something about losing the colander or the colander being broken, or we can just open the cabinet and the colander is just missing, like you have here. I mean, in a pinch, that'll work, but in a perfect world, I would like to see that get set up, the fact that there is no colander, and maybe giving a little backstory as to how the colander got lost or broken. Okay, makes sense? I mean, maybe pulling the colander out of the cabinet, dropping it on the floor, and it gets broke and it breaks. That seems pretty reasonable, right? So think about it. Think about it. And again, this is great. This is oh, I love this. This is so creative. Thanks for including that. That's a great idea. All right. So questions? Let me know. I'm a click away. Or if you want to run this by me, actually, it's yeah. Just let me know. Any questions, comments, concerns, or if I can provide any clarification or make things any more specifically clear, just please let me know. All right. Great job, Cassie. Thanks so much for sharing.